Okay. So what it's a quote from Black Elk, the Indian. Peace comes within the souls of men when they realize their oneness with the universe. When they realize it is really everywhere, it is within each one of us. Black Elk. And it might have to go to the slowed down version.
Greetings, my dear beloved Earthlings. Today I would like to communicate a message of my own as a Commander-in-Chief of the Galaxy Fleet and share with you my impressions of the things happening on Earth. As you already know, my spaceships have been supervising your planet for some years, so we can assess the dynamics of events development on Earth. And this is what we see. In general, the mankind has changed the overall vibration frequency rate for the last decade. At this point I mean only humans. Reptiloids can't change no matter how strong their wish may be, as they don't have at their disposal any subtle sense organs capable of perceiving new high vibrations of Earth. The same applies to clones who totally lack any chakra system. So, the picture we observe from above the subtle plane of Earth is as follows. In big cities and huge crowds of people with dark and heavy energy space, there are humans with beautiful voluminous auras that are the highlight of the night. They automatically absorb surrounding people who also start glowing, not that bright as the source of this light, though. Their aura's range of action change sometimes even within minutes depending on the emotion a human feels at the moment. For the last months there have appeared more people with rather steady energy field that sometimes embraces large areas of several dozens of meters and even kilometers, in rare cases. All this denotes that high vibration frequency energies coming to Earth nowadays are filling you more and more, and it is people being embodied who start influencing the overall vibration frequency rate of Earth. And in order to achieve energy stability you should change your subconscious programs. In other words, feeling of being responsible for yourself and your Earth should be qualitatively transformed into your subconscious one. Just like fear with all its manifestations that once seized the subconscious of 3D world humans, so should the feeling of absolute certainty of Earth and all the mankind transmission into the fifth dimension make your subconscious their home from now on, as well as the feeling of being in perfect security and safety guaranteed by the higher powers of the universe and your galaxy family. And this is how you can do this. Imagine your subconscious as a big, beautiful and brightly lit sphere with lots of treasures kept inside that are nice and safe behind the thick impenetrable membrane. The treasures are your belief in yourself and your great future, your certainty of being always supported by your heavenly safeguards, of your Earth's transmitting into the fifth dimension and your transmitting, too, having tuned to the planet's vibrations. The treasures are unconditional and unlimited love towards yourself, your kith and kin, towards distant relations and even complete strangers, as well as your enemies who are your main teachers. The treasures are unconditional acceptance of all life events as unique and invaluable experience of the soul. Let this sphere of your subconscious free of any 3D world energies glow, running the gamut and saturating the space around with new energies of the fifth dimension. And we will indulge in watching this brilliant image from above and feel happy for our earthly brothers and sisters' sake. Loving you with all my heart. Ashta Sharon spoke to you.
This one will be fast speed too. So it sounds what you said.
Beloved masters, what does spirit look like? Gaze into a mirror and see the reflection of spirit in your eyes. Gaze into the eyes of a child and see spirit looking back at you. Gaze at the sun, the moon, the stars, a mountain, lake, tree, flower, a bird, or an animal and know that the Creator is radiating the love/light of its spiritual essence to you through all of its creations. Please allow this thought to sink into your subconscious and conscious mind. You are in the midst of a transformational process, metamorphosis, of monumental proportions. Old truths are being replaced with higher truths as you become spiritual adults. The way you view yourselves, your world, solar system and universe is rapidly changing as your consciousness expands and you gain access to the intricacies of the cosmos. You are feeling the changes at every level of your beingness and, at times, it seems as though your bodies are rebelling as they go into overload, or take in more refined energy than can be easily accommodated. You must realize that more is not necessarily better, and you should always ask that you move through these times of great change with ease and grace. As old boundaries, superstitions, dogma, and limitations fall away, you are feeling vulnerable and it seems that there no longer are any set guidelines to follow. There is such a tremendous amount of new information available, some conflicting, and some validating what you may have accepted as your new truth. Please be aware that your truths will constantly expand and change as you move up the ladder of expanded awareness and enlightenment. Time as you know it has speeded up so fast you can hardly keep up. The hands on your clocks are moving so quickly, you are often shocked that the day is gone and it seems as though only a few hours have passed. The months and years are whizzing by also, and it seems as though you are on a crash course with your destiny. You are shifting in and out of the myriad energies of the multi-dimensions, which is one more reason why it is so critical that you stay grounded and focused in the moment, so that you don't lose yourselves or your way. By that we mean that you are responsible for the powerful, higher vibrational frequencies that you integrate, for with this new energy comes the ability to co-create more and more quickly anything you put your mind on and feed energy to. It is more important than ever to remember the saying, be careful what you ask for. Preoccupation with the past or future prevents you from experiencing the now moment, which is the moment of your God power. Learn to experience the freshness and joy of being fully in the moment. As with all new habits, it will take a little practice, however, it will soon become a natural state of awareness. Some of the challenges, shifts in consciousness and radical changes do not seem to make sense. Why would you manifest an illness while on your way to becoming a master? Why would you manifest a situation whereby you would have a bizarre accident, lose your job, your income, or a beloved partner? Remember, your higher self sees that you are confronted with the challenges and tests that you agreed to, at the appropriate time for your growth and better understanding. If you do not understand a situation, rise above it and endeavor to view it from a higher vantage point. Remember that it is not always about you, you only think so because you tend to take everything so personally. Also remember that you are in the process of transmuting all that is not based on integrity, self-empowerment, and a unity consciousness or the frequencies of unconditional love. Perfection is not a requirement, in fact, it is unattainable except within the heart of the Supreme Creator. All else is less than perfect in varying degrees. It is about becoming the real you and moving onto the middle path while existing in a world of duality and polarity. You have opened a Pandora's box that has been stored deep within your psyche for thousands and thousands of years. It contains all your core issues and beliefs about self-love, lack and limitations about your worthiness of love, joy, peace, abundance, and vibrant health, as well as your feelings about aging and the continuity of life. All these outmoded beliefs which do not serve your higher good are roiling up into your consciousness so they can be released and requalified into a higher frequency of light substance. You are becoming more intuitive and your telepathic skills are increasing by leaps and bounds. You are connecting with the many facets of your vaster oversoul and your God Ray, I Am Presence, is now taking an active role in your transformational process as it filters to you the refined energies of new creation from the Creator Source. You are affecting everything around you during this process of refining your energy fields, for as you evolve inwardly and send forth higher frequencies of light, everything around you must also change. You have been told over and over again that you first must teach by example, and this is true. What better way to get people's attention than to become very successful at whatever you choose to do, to have vibrant glowing health no matter what your age, to display astounding and innovative creative abilities, and to be so loving and generous that others are awed by your compassion and your ability to see the best in everyone in every situation. The initiation process or your transition into a spiritual/human being is also accelerating exponentially as you analyze, resolve, release and realign with your new integrated frequencies of light. And all of this must take place while you are living within the framework or reality of the mass consciousness belief structure. The process of ascension or enlightenment in ancient times involved isolation away from other people and everything within the mundane world. It involved years upon years of intense study, discipline, and very difficult trials and tests before an initiate could move to the next level of the path. It involved tests so strenuous and dangerous that many times you perished or were maimed for life. You were placed in situations whereby you had to slow your breath and still your life force so that you could remain alive for several days without food, water, and very little air to breathe. Those tests were arranged so that all your weaknesses would come to the fore, and all your deepest fears would rise to the surface and would be exaggerated. If you had not learned to still your mind and your bodily functions and, most importantly, to stay in the still point of the moment, you would either go mad or perish from extreme fright. Those times are past. The ascension process is now geared to the masses and not just the select few. You must pass all the tests of initiation as you go about your everyday life, tests which are brought before you in everyday situations. Each test you pass or each lesson that you gain wisdom from removes a portion of the remaining imbalanced frequency patterns within, and after a time you become more proficient in getting the big picture and learning to move through the distorted patterns more quickly. As your proficiency increases, you are not moved so far off-center and you do not dip into the deep levels of fear and despair of the past, but are able to maintain a more balanced level of awareness. You stop looking outside yourself for validation of self-worthiness. You know within your heart/soul that you are perfect and exactly where you should be at each and every moment in time. You also allow everyone else to seek their own path, in their own time and in their own way. The event called the harmonic concordance marked the time when the frequencies of Creator Light were greatly accelerated and, if you were ready and willing, you were catapulted into a greater level of higher vibrational patterns. Each level brings new gifts of awareness, but also more responsibility. You are learning to take personal responsibility for yourself and for all you create. Several years ago, we explained that as you move upward on the path of ascension, your spectrum of choice narrows as you move onto the narrow path. This means that you must always strive to make the highest choices, and many things that seemed appropriate in the past will no longer be tolerated. Your body will quickly let you know when it wants you to eliminate various foods or habits of lower frequencies, and as you become more attuned to the wisdom of your body elemental, it will apprise you of what you need to do for maximum strength and health, and also what you must eliminate in your life. This may vary from person to person, however. If you wish to gain or maintain maximum health and vitality and be able to integrate higher and higher levels of divine light, you had best take heed. New modalities for healing are emerging every day and humanity is slowly becoming conscious of the fact that each person is responsible for his/her own health and well-being. The medical profession will slowly change into a prevention mode rather than a repair the damage mode. We will stress once more that light, sound, and color are the modalities of healing, balancing and harmonizing the human vehicle, and the use of these gifts will greatly accelerate the process of transformation. As you move deeper and more fully into your spiritual adulthood, can you not feel the connection between us intensifying as we shower down upon you all the radiance of our Father/Mother God's love from the highest realms of the universe? Yes, it is time for each of you to acknowledge and listen to the divine voice of the Creator within that is waiting to answer your every question and supply you with all the knowledge you need to move forward into the new age and evolution of humankind. It is time for you to determine which path to enlightenment you will follow, what rings true for you within your sacred heart. There is only one truth, and that is the eternal truth of the Creator, but it has been fragmented into many energies, thought forms and levels of truth. It is time to follow the nudgings of your higher self, as you claim the truth that resonates clearly within, and then follow it unerringly. Very soon, the time will come when channeling or telepathic skills will be commonplace around the world as more and more blessed souls clear the distortions which lead to a reconnection with their divine self and the wisdom therein. You are being given every opportunity to open or clear the pathway to your vaster self so that you may receive clear, concise information critical to your growth and transformation process. But you must begin by listening to the small nudgings you receive during the day or night, and after validating them in your heart/soul center, follow the guidance that feels appropriate, which should always be empowering, expanding, and loving. The light or divine cosmic life force from the heart center of the Supreme Creator is filtering into the places where the deepest, darkest shadows dwell, both in the world and within each of you. This creates a process of distortion, often confusion, fear, and discomfort. There is an ebb and flow of energies as the light gradually overcomes the shadows and they eventually melt away. Many of you are having experiences where you feel you are being bombarded by some external source. Know that it is your own inner demons you are facing, giving you an opportunity to, once and for all, release all the negative energy patterns that you have been carrying since the beginning of your first physical embodiment. It is of major importance that you discipline your mind and thoughts. What do you wish to carry forward with you into the new age of enlightenment? Your focus should be of both an internal nature and an external nature, for as you transform and raise the frequencies within, your outer world will radically change also. You have suffered enough poverty and deprivation, beloveds. Are you ready to reach out and claim the treasure chest with your name on it that has been held in trust for you? It has been waiting for you to awaken and to be bold enough to demand your birthright. You are the prodigal sons and daughters, under the protection of our Father/Mother God, who are returning to the realms of all possibilities. We fill you to overflowing with blessings beyond measure. I am Archangel Michael.
Self-Mastery 2023, and probably beyond. So, most of you, including myself, spent many, many lifetimes in the caves, like the monks, had hardships, hunger, hallucinations, fear, no one to save us, no one to change the situation. And there we sat, hungry, tired, cold. And then we started having what I would call magic. We started to see things, hear things. We had a breakthrough. We'd run to our gurus or whoever it was that we were working with, and they'd pat us on the head and say, "Very good, nice story. Go back to your cave. Keep going." And on and on. Some of us died from exposure, from the lack of nutrition. Others of us thrived. We learned how to manage it. We learned how to live off the land. We wandered wherever, like grazers. In other lifetimes, we were out and about, and we joined different religious practices where we would pray our life away, where we learned dogma, where we learned to follow rules that were either ancient and couldn't be changed because that wasn't the way, or we were just praying and living in a silent, cloistered world. Most of us experienced this many times. Now, there's some of us here that traveled with me. We were the seers, and we were able to find the hotspots on the planet, the places, the portals that carried tremendous amount of energy. And we would mark those areas, and the church would build a building upon those portals. There were many wars trying to gain the power of those portals, and they would destroy the buildings on it and claim it for themselves and do whatever they do there. And then these holy wars continued over the many, many centuries. We have so much experience, understanding, and we also had a lot of suffering. And these are the things that made us go off balance. And if you're not in harmony and balance, that's when everything starts to go awry. And what they were talking about in both of these videos is it's different now. They want everybody to have an opportunity to go as high as they can, possibly even making it to 5D and leaving 3 and 4 behind. This is why everything changed, that we didn't have to do it the way we used to. We can do it in everyday life because everybody that you interact with is showing you a part of yourself. As scary as that might be, because sometimes you see people before you that give you a shiver that you should have anything to do with their lifestyle. It's okay. There I am, not now, but I was, and I bless it and let it go. Then I thank the person that showed me this and send them light and love. It's all silent. Nobody hears you. This is something you do in the privacy of your own mind. And each time you do that, you get the blessing first, and whoever you blessed gets the blessing. And the more sincere that you are, the greater the blessing for both. To tell you the truth, you are the blessing. You are the gift. You are the light and love of God. What else would you want to do but to share that? To bless others, lift them up. They're so downtrodden. They don't have a clue that they could save themselves, fix themselves, love themselves. They hate themselves. Literally hate themselves. And it shows on them, and their actions follow. Like Archangel Michael was saying, it isn't what's out there that's the problem. It's what's inside us that's causing the problem to be shown to us, simply so that we can heal it, bless it, and let it go. Everything that's ever happened to us, no matter how painful or seemingly unspiritual, has been for us to have that experience and understand it better. It's the only way we're going to learn what life is all about. Until we master each aspect of life, we have to keep going the rounds till we get it, till we love it, till we don't judge it, till we embrace it. Both of the videos talked about oneness. And it isn't just a statement, it's a real thing. If you look at everybody as a part of you, and no matter what part they're playing, whether it makes you feel good or makes you feel terrible, once you purge that from yourself, you're free. You're free. You bring harmony and balance back to that area of your body that was holding that energy. You have the power to heal yourself. There's certain things that you need help. Our physical bodies are our responsibility to take care of. And if we don't, we will suffer. We need these vessels. We got to keep them healthy and strong. We're lifting them into the light. We can reshape them. Good feeling. We built these bodies all on our own. When I see a pregnant lady, even before they're even showing, I know they are, as I can see the soul either on the left shoulder or the right. And they're in prayer. What are they doing? They're building the body according to whatever they came to accomplish. Sometimes they don't build the body very well, but that's all part of their plan of what they're going to do on this planet, in this dimension. Life seems to be a series of mistakes, doesn't it? You constantly feel like things are going wrong. But it isn't. It's just another opportunity, another grace given to you by your own higher self to get over yourself, to let the past go that's not serving you anymore. Make every day count. Look at it as a great adventure. Imagine, oh boy, what's going to happen today? I am so ready. And I always tell God, treat me gently. I'm done beating myself up. Because you are who you are. You're not a reptilian. You're not a clone. They can't do what you're doing. They can't ascend. They don't have the equipment. They don't have what we have. Those chakras spinning inside us and the Kundalini fire within us, they don't have any of that. So they can't do what we're doing. They're stuck right where they are. We are very special creations. And there's no limit whatsoever to what we can do. But first we got to clean house. Get everything right inside us. Your world will be so beautiful. People will just be so drawn to you. I'm sure you're seeing it now. Look at your fields. Look at the beauty that you are. And with knowing this, then you have to believe it. I knew this before I ever could believe it. And it seemed so far-fetched to me because I know what I do and did and said and how I act throughout my life. I know. And it made me feel bad that I could never be holy. I could never be balanced and harmonized like other people that I thought I knew. Never judge yourself against someone else. Never compete with anybody except yourself. Compete with yourself. Strive to be better. How better? Happier. Feel the joy in life. Feel the peace that passes understanding, even if your life is still the same way it was. Seek the peace. Give it up to God. Anything that you feel stressed or worried about, give it up. Throw it up into the violet fire. Anything holding you back, anything cluttering your mind, your heart, anything that makes you feel little, less than, worried, fearful, let it all go. Only we can change our world. Only we can bring freedom to ourselves. A lot of people try to force this process. Doesn't work that way. You just live your life consciously, watching, listening, feeling what you feel inside you when you're with someone, when you're having an experience, when things are going right and when things are seemingly going wrong. Live consciously. And when things upset you, don't brush it off and have to be so make-believe peaceful when you're not. You have to become impeccably honest with yourself. We can even fool ourselves. We're masters at smoke and mirrors, hiding the shadow in us. This is not the lifetime, nor the time in history, this planetary history, for us to do that any longer. A lot of people just say, tomorrow I'll work on it. Next week I'll work on it. When I have time, I'll work on it. You have all the time in the world. Ask God for the time, and it'll be given. When you realize that you are the master of your house and nothing else, not that jabbering mind of ours, nothing else tells us what to do. God doesn't, our higher self doesn't, nor the angels. Nobody tells us what to do. But that is a two-edged sword, because a lot of times we go, I'm not going to do it. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to do it. And nobody can help you. People pray to Jesus to save them. And he says to them, I showed you the way. I showed you the way. He was the way shower on how to ascend. He did not say, I'll save you. He did help people with physical illnesses, mental and emotional. He did. But he asked his Father first, would this help them along the way? That's why he always prayed before he did any kind of so-called healing. Again, as I said before, he never healed anybody. It was the belief of the person that they could be healed, especially by him. They healed themselves because they believed it. It's what you believe becomes your law. You see? And when you align your rules inside you with divine universal law, you're 90% there. Every day I turn my little will over to the divine will that's available to me through my higher self. Do that. It's so helpful, because then I know that what I was supposed to do is going to be fulfilled with no agitation on my part or hesitation. Sometimes I get a little grumbly and I go, geez, I got so much of this, that, and the other thing I wanted to do because I need to get it done. And then I say, but I know that God will provide the time for that. And it always is given, because I believe. Do you believe? You need to believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in your divinity. Believe in your higher self. who you really are at your full potential. Once you believe, and when you make a prayer, knowing that that prayer is already answered, if it's going to be for the highest good of yourself and others. A lot of times people get disappointed and say, you know, I've been praying for this or that or the other thing for weeks on end and nothing is happening. Well, I tell them to go back inside and reword what they're praying for. Leave it to God. Thy will be done for the highest good of all that I'm praying about. And you'll see your prayer move forward. Maybe not fulfill itself exactly the way you thought it would, but it will fulfill itself as it was meant to. God speaks to his children through all of us. So when people speak to you, really listen. You never know if an angel's speaking through them or God himself, a higher self, a messenger of some sort, an angel. You never know. But you know what you will know is where it came from if it hits you in the heart. Some people speak and it hits you in the gut and it doesn't feel right. And you feel like you just feel uncomfortable because it wasn't coming from the right place. It was just empty words. Maybe that's why it's said in the Bible about being cautious of the flatterer, the person that constantly flatters you. What do they want? And why are they doing it? And you don't feel comfortable. You squirm when somebody goes on and on like that. Everything is simple if we don't complicate it by going into our heads and trying to figure out spirituality. It's just going to happen naturally. Realize every day, everything that happens is part of it. Nothing's outside of it. And if things are not good, don't blame the universe or the lineup of planets or God only knows. It's all about our belief system. The planets actually line up to help us to feel, to help us to grow, to help us to come out of our sleep state and many other things. Very strong, powerful planets lining up just right to bring us what we need. There's nothing that you can't do with God working behind you. So with God, you can do all things, because you're actually using that part of your divinity to bring it through. So think about when you ask for things. I kind of stopped asking and just thank God for whatever it was that I'm thinking about. So I'll thank God for the abundance if that was something I was seeking. I thank God for the joy if that's what I'm seeking, rather than ask for it as if it didn't happen yet. It shows that I'm not quite sure about either what I asked for or that it will be delivered. Be like a child. Remember, Jesus said that. Come unto me as a child. And not childish. As a child, you're innocent. You ask for things knowing that God would never say no to every abundance, every wonderful, blessed thing. that would serve you. But that's the key to it, is does it serve you? A lot of times we ask for things that really would trip us up. Oh, I want to win the lottery. Yeah, well, wonderful. Most people end up bankrupt because they have no idea how to manage that kind of money. I actually know somebody that did that. Watch what you ask for. Trust that everything that you need is taken care of. And when you align yourself with the divine part of yourself, that not only will your needs be taken care of, but your wants will also, because you're aligning to the divine potential where the wisdom lies. Everything changes and shifts in your life. You start to feel very peaceful, even in the chaotic world that we're living in right now. Most of you had really pulled back from getting involved in all the drama. Very important not to let your energy hit the floor. It's dangerous, actually, at this point, because it hurts so bad. Even if you go down one increment and feel what 3D feels like again, you'll jump out of that so fast and you'll not do it again. Don't go there. You're living in a very high frequency. Even if things are still happening that you're feeling uncomfortable about, that's not so-called working out. Millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people don't even know what I'm talking about. If I said this to them, they would back away like I was nuts. Or the very religious people have a real problem with talking about your divinity. And they're still saying Jesus is going to save us. Jesus is going to heal us. Jesus is going to do all these things. All we got to do is love him. Well, I'm a minister, but I know better. I know better. And if I teach a flock, I teach them the truth about their potential. I'm not afraid to talk about this. And every once in a while, somebody I don't even know comes up to me and we have one of these conversations. And it just floors me. It just floors me how many people know what we know. Not just the politics. That's just a fraction of what we know. The important part is the ascension. Otherwise, Jesus wouldn't have bothered coming. He showed us the way home to our potential. He's my hero. And he's very much alive and well. And he's speaking to you right now. He speaks through you too. You ever say something and it's like so cool? You go, wow, where did that come from? Well, you're connected. You're connected to the big boy. And he loves us all deeply. He loves everybody. People who have lost their way. People who deny him. People who curse him. People who have turned to very dark ways. He loves them. But until they love themselves, until they don't look at life on earth as the whole deal until they know that there's more to it. A lot of people are just going to go to sleep and stay asleep. Not you. None of you are going to do that. So look to your life as a joyous opportunity. Know that you're getting somewhere. You really are. Every week, I see the changes. I see the colors. I feel the love. I see the light. Look in the mirror and kind of unfocus your eyes and just look at yourself. Just kind of look at into the mirror. Back up a little bit and look at that gorgeous aura of yours. That white light around your head. You want to know halos? That's what it is. The light around you. Around your crown. How many of you are starting to feel different? Beautiful. Do you thank God every day for the changes? Yes. Remember to be grateful. The universe deserves our gratitude. All those great beings all around each one of you. Some of you have relatives around you as well. They love you so much. They can't interfere, but they can pray over you. They can love you. I was talking to my 100-year-old friend that's on the other side. She goes, they better get me in the ground already. She goes, this is ridiculous. She passed away in the winter and they couldn't do anything about that. So she's been in a crypt all this time. And we're doing the service on Friday. She was so funny today because I had said to myself, she hasn't come to visit me in a while. She goes, I'm right here. I'm right here. Yeah. And she's her old feisty self. Well, she's not old anymore. Either are you. Even this gray mare over here. We're millions of trillions of killions of years old. We look pretty good for our age, don't we? So, my dear friends, what are we learning here? Where are we going? We're going to heaven. Heaven is a state of consciousness. It's not a place. You can be in heaven right in 3D, as we're going to prove to ourselves that our lives are not like other people's lives that are not doing this process consciously. They're still moving up, but they're still in 3 and 4 negative. You're in 4 positive. A couple of you are in 5. Not in every cell of your being, but it's beautiful to have as much in there, in that higher frequency, than not. What we're doing together with the love that we feel for each other, all of us focusing on the same thing, which is what God sent us here to do. Our higher self said, okay, this is it. You want to go in? You want to do this? We said yes, but I'm a little nervous, but we did it. We are considered heroes to the beings like Ashtar and Archangel Michael and the angels in general and benevolent beings. They find us so brave to come in, give up all of the beauty of the heavenly consciousness to finish up the little bit that we had left to do and to lift up this entire planet and all life on it. That is not something that the weak do. It has to be someone who's determined, very powerful, knows what they want, and wants to serve God. Somebody asked me what my occupation was and whom I working for. And I said, I work for God. And he flipped out like laughing. He goes, what? I said, yes, I work for God. You can put that on the application. And he did. And when I went back to see him a week later, he said, I showed all of the people that work here and my higher ups that you work for God. He said, I couldn't believe how many people just accepted that. You figure that out. I don't know why I said it. It just came out of my mouth. Don't be afraid. Don't be hesitant. Don't sit and think about your spirituality. Just be. Just be you. Be free. Free yourself from your past. Think about what freedom really is. It's freedom from the rules and the dogma and everything that limits us and stops us and holds us back. Rules, rules, rules all over the place. Rip up your rule book. Set yourself into your sacred heart and use your divine mind to operate, which is linked to universal law, and you will go on the straight and narrow path into the heavenly consciousness. And the world will not be enticing to you anymore. Nothing will be dragging you down. They can have it all. What do we care? We'll be taken care of by our Father. That is who provides for us, not your boss providing for you, not your job. God uses that as a source, but that's not your source. Your higher self, the God in you, that's your source. And as you come to believe this, and as you come to operate with great gratitude, peace, joy, you're going to find your life becoming just that, no matter what your circumstance, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with. Love yourself first. It's the key to everything. Because when you don't, you'll never feel the love that's coming around you. You'll always think differently, that they don't hear you or they don't know how much you love them. You'll never say that because you'll become love and everything will vibrate in love. Everything. Not earthly love, divine love. And that is where you come from, and that is where you're going back to, and you're bringing everyone you love with you as high as you can get them. Rest in knowing that, and you'll be at peace. You'll feel the joy. You'll rest in your heart instead of in your head, spinning and talking and talking. realign yourself with the divine in you, and your whole life will change. All the little annoyances, all the things that drive you nuts, it'll all go away. It's not important. It's just not important enough to take your peace away. Just bless it and love everything and everyone. And that return flow of love will come back to you when you need it the most. And when you're already there, it'll just add to it. Be the love of God. That's who you are. That's why you came. That's what you share. That's what you know best. You know when you do something nice, how good you feel about it. You feel good about yourself and about the person you help. Make that your practice. Jesus said, if somebody asks for your cloak, give them your other cloak too. Give them everything. They ask you to walk a mile, go 2 miles. In other words, stop resisting, because whatever you resist persists. It's true. I proved to myself. Let go of the past. Let go of everything. Free yourself. Feel lighter than a feather. When you don't worry and you don't fuss and stress, you feel so light and good. It shows in your face. You become this beautiful light, and it radiates out from you. And if you could see it in others, it would kind of freak you out because it's coming out of their eyes and their skin, out of your pores. It's so beautiful. So when you go anywhere, know that that's what you look like, and just keep radiating out that light. You can't imagine how far your light will spread. And think of all the people walking through that energy of love. What a great thing to do. And it just comes naturally, because that's who you are.